Yo, what's up guys? Anthony here. And one thing you might not know about me is I actually hand make my own 5-panel hats with my sewing machine. And I've come up with a pretty good collection behind me, and I think you guys would be interested in checking it out if you like hats, clothing, making things. In this video I'll show you how I make all my hats, and I'll show you my collection too. So let's do this. So a lot of these hats I made have been sold or given away or are still in California. I don't have. The ones I do have I'll be showing you up close. So here's one hat that was made in September 2015, I believe. A light blue and red color palette. I was going for kind of like the colors of Thing 1 and 2 from the Dr. Seuss books. I do like these two colors together. And this is when I started experimenting with cut logos. I painted my own logo, and all these hats are hand sewn by me. Light blue lining. I really like the brim on this one, turned out really nice. Good lines. Alright, so here's another corduroy hat. Kind of goes with the same kind of two-tone color theme that the other one did. This is purple and red. Also made with corduroy. Very soft hat, really good colors too, very bright. Nicely sewn brim lines. Alright, so this is probably the earliest hat I might have. I believe this is May 2015. I made this before I've been sewing for a year, so I'm still not amazingly great, but I was starting to kind of get the hang of brim lines, nice really straight lines, and making these nice and straight. The lining I was getting really good at too. Not really, these hats aren't that great with lining, but the hats themselves look good. This was my skateboarding hat for a long time. Alright, and now another corduroy hat from around the same era. Mid 2015 I believe. Just a solid bright red. I started getting pretty good at the logos at this point. Alright, here's another hat from mid 2015. Orange flannel with a denim lipped brim. The lipped brim was something I was experimenting and researching for months. I would just spend so much time thinking, looking at other hats, see how I would do the lipped brims. Because if you look at a Supreme hat, every Supreme hat really has a lipped brim. And I just thought, how can you make that happen? It just doesn't seem possible, but I figured it out and it worked. But it's really hard to do and it takes so much time, and I probably went through 3 brims trying to make this hat. So it's kind of like one of those exclusive things for my collection. I really like the way this hat looks, but I mean the shape wasn't all there yet, but it still looks nice. Good logo too. Forgot to throw this in with the other corduroy hats, but this was made about early mid 2015 as well. It's another corduroy hat. It's black and light green, like a lime green. Brim lines were still pretty good. I got better though as I went on, but yeah, this was one of the first hats that actually fit me very well, and I started to figure out how to sew them so they fit my head and other people's heads as well. They weren't like randomly sized. So this one's probably around late 2015, maybe mid 2015, I don't really remember. But this one actually has a really nice shape to it. I made it out of a thicker material. But it's a little bit smaller for my head. That was the thing with these hats. It's a hit or miss on size. It's either too big or too small. This one was tight on my head, and I have a small head, but this hat just looks really good in my collection. One of my best hats. The brim lines aren't that great because my sewing machine with thicker material doesn't do very well. So you can see the little crooked at points. But I think the hat as a whole just looks great. I started experimenting with thicker logos too on the stitching. You can see that I put zigzag threads around my logos. This is the V1 logo. I have a V2 logo out now. Alright, so this is probably one of the best hats I've ever made as far as shape and material goes. A very interesting story about this hat too. I made this around late mid 2015. Started getting really good at making the hats. I did not make this brim, by the way. I took this off of another hat just because I was too lazy that day to make a new brim, and those take the longest, but the material is insane. I got this material in Berkeley, California at a shop. Yellow logo, blue lining. I use this in my Karma 5 panels commercial. Alright, now this hat was more of an experiment and a prototype than an actual finished version, but it looks good in the collection. This is a winter hat with fleece line ear flaps as well as a line inside. The sweatband just looks like trash. Sometimes they just don't form well. And this was just an experiment. Didn't fit my head either, it was way too big. Hats like this are really hard to judge, especially when I was kind of not yet fully experienced as I am now. No lining on the brim. The colors look great. Shape's decent. I don't like the shape too much, it looks weird. But it's cool. Cool experiment. Cool hat. Here's a hat that was also kind of an experiment. Experimenting with different colors, different colors for different panels. I went for a Rasta hat. This was made in late 2015, I believe. And this hat's way too small for me, but I mean it looks really good in the collection. And I'm just in love with this logo. It's so good, and it matches all the colors, except the green is a little brighter here. But it's all good. One of my highest quality hats for the time. Really good lining, really good lines, although it was just too small. Bummer, but looks sick. Alright, now it's time for 2017, just a couple months ago, these hats. I feel like I have no hats from 2016 that I could find. I don't even have any of my original hats anymore, they're all in California or in the garbage. Every day's another day to learn, so when you reach your fork in the road, you know where to turn. I look up at the bright sky, feeling on my eyes, backdropping the buildings, rising up with size, can't despise or describe how I'm feeling deep inside. Butterflies in my stomach as I ride. So this hat I just made this month last month in December. One of my highest quality hats as far as shape goes. Obviously there's still some issues, but I mean this hat is just crazy. The lining is perfect. There's still some fabric coming through, but the lines are perfect. Got a weird lighting situation here. Brim lines suck because my sewing machine is like on the verge of suicide. Brim's a little bit iffy too, but I mean yeah, that's just my sewing machine. And this is my wear hat. I wear this when it's not too cold outside. Just my chill hat. And here's a brand new logo as well for my business, Karma Productions. And here's a hat I made for my brother for Christmas. This is another one of the newer hats. This is actually the first hat I made after a year off of sewing, and it turned out really good. I feel like taking a year off just made my hats incredible. So it's corduroy fabric I got in Santa Barbara actually, and it was just so beautiful. I had to make a hat out of it. It took me 1 year, actually more than a year. But yeah, it's the first V2 logo. A little bit of frayed material on the edges, but I don't really care. It looks sick. And last but not least, the hat I was wearing on the intro. Newest hat I've made because it is about 8 degrees outside right now. It is freezing. And this hat has really been a lifesaver for me. This is a version 2 of the winter hat I showed you earlier. This hat actually fits my head and it looks good. I went ahead and didn't do fleece lining on the inside, but rather I did like a, I don't know what you call this material. It's on a lot of coats, a lot of hats as well, but I decided to line the ears with it, and it's so warm. Made my own buckles. I can button them on top too. It looks really good. And this is another lipped brim. I actually made this brim 2 years ago and didn't know what hat to use it for, and I figured for a winter hat, a nice soft colorful brim would be perfect. Help liven up the spirits as well as feel good. Alright, now I can get into the Supreme hats a little bit. It's actually the first Supreme hat I got. This is from fall winter 2013. I had this 5-panel before I even started making hats, so this inspired me to want to make hats because 1, Supreme hats are hella expensive, and 2, I thought how cool would it be if I could make my own hats with my own materials. Alright, now for the second Supreme hat I got. This was fall winter 2014. I love purple, so I had to get this hat. Really nice hat. Alright, now for my Christmas Brim. I used to work at a burrito restaurant and my boss bought me this for Christmas, which is amazing. Like, one of the nicest gifts I've gotten in my life, from someone that's like not in my family. Very thoughtful gift too, because he knew I liked making hats, so he thought this would be the perfect gift, and it was. Truly great gift. Beautiful for the collection as well. Alright, now for some miscellaneous hats.
It's funny how people change you in mysterious ways and make you see the world from a different gaze. Almost kill myself, that's a serious phrase. 800 days turn all my colors to grays. I fucking failed.
So that's the collection, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I wish I could have some of my older hats that I've made, just because that would be the full collection, but these are just the ones that I have over the years. Some of my favorites as well. But yeah, maybe soon I'll show you actually how I make them. But this is a cool video. Gotta rep my brand. See ya, guys. I appreciate the love. Thank you for watching. Go check out the new music video for Eyes on Fire if you haven't seen it, and the mixtape on SoundCloud, San Franciscanitis. And until next time, peace.
I'm really gonna miss you. I wish that I could kiss you, so I write you this letter to let you know that it was all for the better, for the better.